Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I thought it would be kind of fun or interesting to do a before the frost and after the frost comparison of my Zone 7 Central North Carolina garden. So today is November 1st, and we are predicted to go down to 30 degrees tonight, which, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, is a few weeks earlier than what our average first frost date has been in the last few years. It's fine. It's time. I'm actually really looking forward to getting summer kind of pulled out and get started on seeding for the cool season. And I've been waiting for frost to hit. So I'm just gonna take a quick stroll around so you can see what things look like today. And then tomorrow, when we have frost, I will do the same so that you can see the difference between, well, now when we're still in the 50s compared to when we get 20 degrees cooler. Well, first of all, the most frost-proof thing in the garden is this furry cat. And he is ready for frost because he is allergic to mosquitoes and he has been suffering all summer long. So he is the one that is most excited for the cool weather. But as you can see, some of the plants are just doing wonderfully. I mean, this rose has more flowers on it right now than it's had the whole season. Now, things like this papyrus will likely kind of burn down to the ground. Now, that is in a pond liner. See, oh, it's very, wow, it must be really dry. It's like barely any water in there. You have to add some water to that. Other things, I mean, already the zinnias are awful looking. I'm gonna wait and harvest seed from these this weekend when I have a bit more energy. Definitely the eggplants are done. I'm gonna be doing a lot of harvesting today on random summer produce so that it doesn't all turn to mush. I know I have about 1 billion peppers to harvest in this border. I am seeing some nice big red peppers, but you know, lots and lots of jalapenos. Look in here, you know, nice big fat bell peppers, more jalapenos. Once I get in here, I'm probably going to be overwhelmed by the amount of produce that I'm going to be harvesting. But as you can tell, this bed has already gotten some cold damage on it. So a hard frost tonight is just going to expedite my ability to tear everything out and get it restarted. Now, the things that won't be damaged, of course, are broccolis. Any of your cool season vegetables should be totally fine, but this will be the last day for coleus. And it's time to say farewell to this border. Again, the Thailand giants will just die to the ground. They aren't really reliably hardy. I will be collecting seed from them. And, you know, this is going to allow me to go ahead and start harvesting sweet potatoes so that we can get this bed replanted for the cool season as well. Obviously, any of the summer containers will be melted by tomorrow. Maybe under here, they might not get hit as hard, but it'll be interesting to be able to compare. I'm definitely excited to get the wall replanted, and I've got to get my act together and get this rice harvested. You can see the birds have been doing it. I didn't get it done before I went on this 2.5-week adventure. I do have a fair amount of seeds still to harvest, and you can see this rice is only now just starting to produce. So I'm gonna leave it out. I'm not gonna overwhelm myself today. You can see that coleus already got burnt, probably from last night. So that's good. It's time to get everything replanted. I'm glad we got to enjoy this Kufia for a nice long while. It started blooming much earlier than I usually remember it blooming. And likely the papyrus here will also get knocked down, and that's also very normal, although I'm noticing it's really dry. All of the ponds are basically completely dry. So that'll influence how the plants perform with the sudden cold coming tonight. And as I'm doing this, I'm seeing that I've got another succulent here that needs to be brought in for shelter. As you can see, this section has already gotten up frost. You can see the sweet potatoes look kind of beat. And we're gonna go ahead and get the lime brought in. And I always put this in the heated blue shed, and I will cut back the begonias really hard. This is the 3rd year with these begonias. And then over the course of winter, when we have frost-free warm-ups, I just bring the lime outside so it gets sunlight. I can water it. You can see we've got some fruit that are actually ready to be harvested. So we'll go ahead and get this brought in for safekeeping. I've had this since I think 2016, and though every year I think I should just stop it, I'm not gonna give up this year. Now, more pre-frost images. Things look rough. It's time to get stuff pulled out. And sometimes it's just easier once frost hits that it looks so ugly that then I get activated into full gear. So this is definitely the last night for these summer borders. You can wave them goodbye. You could see how tall the barley is that we sowed back in, like, I think it was late August. And this will likely not at all be damaged by 30 degrees. It'll be interesting to see how this barley performs, though, with much colder temperatures, because usually I don't sow barley until late November or December, and it slowly grows all winter. I think that this will be a little bit too tender when real cold hits, but again, it's a great learning experience. You know, the great thing about the All Natives garden, none of this stuff, I don't have to worry about any of this stuff. It's all hardy, it's all frost tolerant, everything looks spectacular, especially that white cloud Muhlenbergia. But look at the salvia and the agastaches, and my appreciation for this native plant palette has significantly increased just in the last 30 minutes, knowing that I don't have to do anything to prep this section of the garden. Unlike having to go through and harvest all the peppers and all the tomatoes. And of course I don't have to, but I grow it for the purpose of eating. And I really don't want to waste it. So, as you can see, got a lot to harvest. And then I have to find a place to put it inside. Well, we definitely had a hard frost last night, and obviously my voice has still not recovered from my 16-day adventure. But before I show you all the frost damage, I wanted to show you how unscathed the native borders are and how completely exquisite they look. And in this moment, my appreciation for this plant palette has just increased exponentially, because my non-native kind of exotic tropical foodscape next door is a disaster. And for the first time since planting these borders, this is the garden that looks the most beautiful. And I just wanted to share that I was really having an aha moment, because there were times this summer where I was really questioning what I was doing, planting this, questioning my design, questioning my plant choices. And today, on November 2nd, all of a sudden, what we did this summer is really starting to make sense. All right, so let's pan the native borders and then into where east meets west. And then you can really start to see frost damage from container plants. And of course, I like growing annuals in pots. I like the, you know, the flare they show, but obviously after frost, they're pretty incredibly ugly. No big deal, as I'm looking forward to replanting these containers. And oh, how funny. You guys, I missed a pepper. It's actually not too bad. I'll have to eat it tonight. But as we come over to the front garden here, you can really see that last night definitely was the end for the tropical wave. The Thailand giant colocasias are melted. The sweet potatoes are all burnt back, making it really easy to be able to start ripping stuff out. And of course, this front border, all of the coleus are melted. A lot of the salvias are much hardier. So like this salvia still looks good, but you know, all the zinnias are nipped. The roselle, all the dahlias. You know, this was, you know, the theme was tropical foodscape. So no expectations that it wasn't going to get nipped, but it's a dramatic transition from one day to the next. And as I just mentioned, seeing how beautiful those native plants look and not damaged at all by the frost really makes me appreciate that plant palette in a whole different light. And it's a really important recognition for me as a horticulturalist, something that I've now gone almost 25 years without really having paid attention to. Well, and you can really start to notice where microclimates are after a hard frost, because here on the south side of the house, all of this stuff, it's nipped, but it doesn't look ravaged. You see the papyrus did not actually get burned back. But then of course, as we come around here where it's more open, it just smells like death. So obviously, you know, all the zinnias, all the coleus, all the basil, all the okra, you know, any of the summer vines, the squash, the cucumbers, the buckwheat took a good hit. The kufia is all, you know, died back. And, you know, I showed this yesterday and it showed some damage, but now you can really see it's totally nipped, which is great because it's time to get stuff cleaned up. And I'm sure by the weekend I will feel back to normal and I'll be super excited to get in here and start ripping stuff out. I think the thing I'm probably most sad about is that the Kusha squash was really starting to produce a lot. And if we'd had a few more weeks, I would have gotten a lot more harvest. I'm probably not going to clear this area right away just to see if any of these flowers that don't look damaged end up producing. It's a long shot, but I have plenty of other garden area to clean up, so I don't have to be in a rush to get this section dealt with first thing. And I mentioned the barley yesterday, and as you can see, the barley is untouched, not phased at all by the cold. And of course, neither is the chickweed or the Velcro weed, the lamium, any of the other problem plants that are in here. So you can definitely see what is cool season and what isn't after you've had a frost. And that will really help you better understand a plant's habit in general. So it's a good thing to pay attention to when you've gotten a hard frost to see what was damaged and what survived. And we're gonna have another cold night tonight. You can see that beautiful clear blue sky. I'm gonna probably deal with this bed first. You know, this is what I see when I walk out my back door and I want it to look nicer. I haven't decided what I'm gonna plant here. And I think that I may even go plant shopping to get something really cool that's winter hardy to go around the base. Maybe some different mustards that, you know, I'd rather just get plants instead of growing from seed. So I'm excited to get the new season started. I'm also excited just to clean the pool up. The great news there is this oak finally lost all of its leaves, so the pool should stay cleaner. I'm quite relieved that that oak tree is going to be done dropping leaves for at least the next couple of months. Well, everybody, I think you can tell that I'm still exhausted, and I've actually been working really hard all day long, just getting everything put away and reorganized and getting my office back into shape. Being gone for half a month is something I haven't done since before the pandemic, and it's it's a task to get back into the groove of things, but I am very much looking forward to diving back out here. We have some beautiful weather in the coming days, so I know I'll be motivated to get outside and play in the garden. I do hope that you will plan to tune in. Well, as always, thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening, everybody.